So when you install the BaccS plugin, you get two things. You have a new ribbon item, set of ribbon items called BaccS plugin in the home view of the projects view. And if you click on any of these items on the right that have desktop written after them, if you don't have the main application installed, you just get a message telling you that it needs to be installed and running. So these three items on the top here are specific to the paid for application. The two that are relevant to you, if you're using the free version, where you don't need the BaccS application to be installed at all, are the create a quote and create an invoice. And when you click on either of these, they will take you straight to the page for creating a quote or an invoice based on whichever project you have selected at the time. So I'm going to start off with that and just show you how easy it can be from here. So I'll take this project here called data testing, and I'm just going to create a quote. So I haven't done that before, so I click on that. I can select a customer. I've set 2 customers up in here already, but you can have as many as you like in your list. I'll take my genial customer, and then I'll take my default scheme. I've only set up 2 schemes. The default uses all of the standard bands in Studio, and the second one I used was only for machine translation. So if you were post-editing a project, you could have a particular price rate for handling machine translated segments only. But I'll pick the default for this. You then have an option to take the fuzzy types or the average volume. If you take the fuzzy types, then the quotation is going to break it down into the individual rate bands based on the analysis that you carried out on your project. If you use the average volume, it just gives you a single quote, a single line, and doesn't fill up the quotation with all that kind of detail. So I suppose it depends on the type of client you're working for. I'll take the all fuzzy type so we can see what it looks like, and I'll just click on OK. So this takes me straight through into the BaccS TMS view, and in here you can see I have some basic information. I can give it a particular status, so I'm preparing it at the moment, so I'll leave it at that. The quotes number is sequential and it's automatically added to the previous one. So this is number 7, the next one will be 8, 9, 10, etc. There are options in the tool to have these restart every month or every year, or whenever you actually want to have them restarted, or to change the way the numbering works, so it's quite flexible to suit the way you might like to number your own quotes. But if you don't have a mechanism, this is quite handy because it just keeps track of it all for you and you don't have to worry about it. There's various other information I'm not going to put in there. I'm not going to enter a delivery time date. Payment policy, I might say pay in 14 days please, or something like that. I can add some notes and say this, so a one-time offer only, or whatever I want to write in there. And you can then add different items down here. So this is also quite neat. If you had something like this, where you've got all these different items and you didn't want to show them all, you could remove individual items by selecting it and then just deleting the item, or you can add additional items if you've got new things in there that you actually want to add. I'm not going to in this case, but you could. So it's very flexible in terms of what you can actually put on the quotations. Even though it's a free version, it is very, very flexible in what it allows you to do. So basically I'm just going to save it and close it at that point. And when I do that, it takes me to my quotes view, and in there you can see I've got all the list of the quotes I've done so far. Here's my new one at the top here for 110 euros, and down the right hand side in here I've got a list of all of the projects that I currently have, and they're color coded based on what I've actually done. So if they're blue, I've created an invoice already and the invoice numbers are in there. See, I've created a lot of invoices for that one. If they're yellow, then it means I've created a quote for it, and you can see this is quote number 7, which is the one I've just done, which is the data testing. You can also create the quotes or the invoices from this list by selecting the one you want and then just clicking on the create quote button here. So it's very flexible in terms of how you can actually navigate around and create your quotes. To look at it, it's no problem. I can just right click and I can say print quote, and it will then go away and print it, and there's my quotation. Because I have the free version, there's not too much I can change on here. I can edit some fields, so if I want to change the dates or overwrite some of the information that's in here, then I can do by double, because if you didn't like something or you wanted to make a change, you can do really comfortably. But all the data I put in there, including a little logo if you want to have it, your address, the address of the customer that you've used, all that sort of information is in there. And then you can export it as a PDF which is quite nice, or MHT file, RTF, docx, Excel file, all kinds of different things, which is really nice. And you can email it as well as one of those files. Just directly pick up your email program. So when you're happy with that, you print it and you send it off. So very nice. I'm going to say no there. To create an invoice, it works exactly the same way. If I click over on the invoices, over here you can see I've got a list of all my invoices again. I have the list of the projects on the side. If I wanted to create a new one, let's create one for this DITA project. So let's assume I've actually done that. So I'll go to DITA testing and we'll say create a new invoice, and I'll do it from here. I'll take my genial customer, default fuzzy scheme, all fuzzy types again. I'll take that and I'll click OK. And I'll just click save and close. Same kind of information as before. I can add any notes or anything I want on there. Payment dates, or if it was actually paid, so you can keep a track of when things were paid and when they were not. If you've got the full version, you can report on all this type of information, which is very nice. But in here, it's just giving you the ability to be able to create them and send them, which is good in itself. So I close that and save it. There's my invoice created, and I can right click, or I can even click down here and print invoice down at the bottom here. But I quite like the right click approach because it's everything convenient in one place. And there's the invoice. You actually get two different templates. This is my preferred template actually. This is really nice. I like the way it's laid out. It's nice and clear and simple. It has my logo on there, has the fact it's an invoice, it's in the colours in red on there. And I guess I can edit some fields in there as well. Yep, I can't change the fields in the invoice this time, but I can change the fields here. So I click close on that one. If I wanted to have a look at one of the other ones, the other template, if I print the invoice on that one, it looks like this. So there's two built-in templates that you get. If you want to do more than that, then you need to go and buy the full version of BaccS, where you've got full flexibility. I think you get 8 or 9 different templates to begin with, but you can edit these or you can create your own. So it's a very, very nice tool. And that's it in a nutshell, how you create your invoices and your quotes. The options I'm not going to go into in any great detail, but I will show you, because I quite like doing it, just how nice it is moving backwards and forwards between them. It's a very, very smooth implementation, and uses the Studio APIs really beautifully. It fits in with Studio and just looks like it's a part of the product. It's very, very nice indeed. So I definitely recommend you go and have a look at this if you haven't done before, because you'll find it's a really nice tool.